talking about UAE versus Vietnam. They're both battling for the top spot, top Group G. What are your thoughts on that, Gabe?
Oh, this is my probably my the tie I'm looking forward to the most tonight, because on one hand you have a regional powerhouse in UAE that have been, among the top few nations in Asia for the past 5 to maybe even 10 years now. And then you have Vietnam, who we all, come to grow and love because they're so close to this region. They are now an example for what Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia should be aiming for, because they are a small nation when you compare them to the rest of Asia, powerhouses like Japan, South Korea, China even, but they are doing so well to be on top of that group. I know, when people look at it, it's a fairly Southeast Asian group, so it's fairly even, but still with UAE there as well, to be on top of that group with one game to go is a huge achievement. And I'm really backing Vietnam to do it, because we've seen how much big strides they've made in the past few years, winning the Suzuki Cup in 2018, going to the Asian Cup in 2019, and making it all the way to the quarters before losing to Japan 1-0 even. So it wasn't like they were completely embarrassed against the might of Japan. So they've really made huge strides. I think under Park Hang-seo, he's a coach that has shown so much. He used to only be known for being Goose Hiddings' assistant at the 2002 World Cup. I don't think he's being known just as that anymore. He's really made a name for himself right now. So with him at the helm, with a huge bunch of talent, I really want Vietnam to go far. I think they can do it. So all in all, it's not going to be an easy test, mind you. I mean, UAE have come back into action after the COVID enforced break with great form. Ali Mahmoud is just on fire at the moment, and with they have a couple of naturalized players in Caio Canedo and Fabio Lima, who are just a breath of fresh air to the team. So it's not going to be an easy game for Vietnam. I think it's going to be fairly even, but it would just be nice to see Vietnam be one of just 12 teams to march on into the final round of Asian World Cup qualifiers, and being one from Southeast Asia as well.
It's great that football in Southeast Asia is developing. So who do you think the notable players for Vietnam will be tonight?
That's a good question, because actually I wrote an article on this one just today, and one of the points was it's almost impossible now to pinpoint. There will be one, Nguyen Quang Hai. He's been a star for them. But unlike previous generations, where I guess it was even for the opposition, it was easy. Just mark Le Quang Bin out of the game, they're done, or just mark Nguyen Van Quet out of the game, they're done. Now Quang Hai was missing in the last game against Malaysia from suspension, and straight away someone like Nguyen Tien Lin stepped up. They just have match winners all over the park, and that's what I really like about this current Vietnam side. So yes, Nguyen Quang Hai is still by far the most talented player in this team. He is by no means the only option they have. They have Luong Xuan Trong and Nguyen Kong Phong, who were the first two that really came onto the scene as part of this golden generation. Both made it overseas, didn't make an impact, but they're still only 26. So even for those two, there's a lot of time to get their careers back on track. And then you have Duan Van Hao, who spent a year on loan at Herenveen in the Dutch league. So there's so much talent there. And mind you, there's still Dang Van Lam, the first choice goalkeeper, is not in the squad. So there's still more improvement to come back into this team. So I could name you the whole 26-man roster, Bowen, and those would be the 26 players to look up for. I just really like this team because there's great talent everywhere.